स्मार्ट शेअर्स मार्केट मध्ये
नारायण प्लीज आणि
Good. Yes. Nice. Nice. Good. Yes. So many design thinking. I think at least yesterday's our session has made it very clear. Other than the topic of the FDP, that we are doing something with design thinking and passion. Okay, nice, fine. So I was here actually. Yes. Now coming to the point. Yes, we are at day 2. Now day 2 should start with yesterday's focus. So all of you have written what you could recollect from yesterday's session. So innovation, idea, Google Map innovation, user solution centric process. Very right. Yeah. So few reviews from my side, just to make you remember, when you think anything about design thinking, one thing should reflect to your mind is design thinking is about making some human-centered approach for some purpose that will uplift one, either ourselves or either someone else, whatever it is. So it should uplift someone. So that's the basic thing about design thinking. Okay, yeah. Where I ended yesterday was, actually I'm looking forward, I'm not able to slide show this. I don't know why, there is something. I was trying to put it on slideshow actually.
participate.
Just a minute, let me see if I can. Yeah. Okay, not able to put it on slideshow. I don't know what is happening, but anyway, excuse me for that. I'll put up the slides this way.
Madam, taskbar at the down right side there is a symbol.
No, something has happened. This taskbar now, this has overlapped. Okay.
मॅडम आता बंद करून पुन्हा सुरू करा ना होईल.
Okay. Done. Okay.
Okay, झाला
ना?
हो झालं.
Yes. Okay.
येणार ते. हा झालं.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So okay. I don't know. No, something has happened again.
ना
Just give
होतं
me
मॅडम
one.
फुल स्क्रीन
कुठेतरी अडकतंय. Just a minute. Hold on, please, for a while. I'll just check.
The slide is not advancing, I think.
Yeah. There was something, that is why I moved into. Yeah. Yes. Is it visible now? I think. And I
yes, madam. It is
Yes,
visible.
madam.
Yes.
So now we are at blank slide. Now this slide itself is blank. You won't see anything. Now here is what we are going to write. So first thing, I think I made you open the chat box and already everyone has put into what you feel about the thing, what you feel that yesterday or what you could remember about what we called as design thinking. Today to start with, I think I ended up with certain things. What that is design thinking, human-centered approach. Third thing, we looked into something called as innovation. So these were 3 primary things which we discussed related to design thinking. I ended up with a very different tone, and that was have an assignment to find out yourself about hobby as well as passion. So what is hobby and what is passion? So that was the idea actually. I hope people must have worked on it. Yes. So I'm not going to ask the difference between hobby and passion actually. Again, today I will ask people to write their hobby and passion. What is your hobby and what is your passion? What is your hobby and what is your passion?
But what's the definition of hobby and passion?
We are going to discuss that for sure.
Okay.
Listening to music. I would request everyone, सगळ्यांनी आपल्या चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये दोन्ही गोष्टी सोबत लिहा. हॉबी लिहा आणि पॅशन लिहा. फक्त एक नका लिहू, कारण ही कालची असाइनमेंट होती आपली, ही आजची नाहीये, कालची असाइनमेंट होती. त्यामुळे सगळ्यांना विनंती की सगळ्यांनी ते लिहावं. Passion is teaching, hobby is reading, cooking is my hobby. To become a good reader. Okay, good. Yes. Fine. Yeah. So I think many answers are there, and I would request everyone to go through this because the slate is totally clean. You are there to write. That is why even the slide is clean. Now, as someone asked me, what is the difference between hobby and passion? I don't know if anyone can help me with this. Obviously, one kind request to all the teachers. If we go through ChatGPT is available everywhere for all of us, very true. But then I think we should make an effort to push ourselves to look into what does this mean. So in simple words, what is hobby? What is hobby? So I would say design thinking. A subject like design thinking taking over is my not hobby, it's my passion. So hobby, मला काहीतरी आवडतंय. And that is what I do. For example, my friends are today saying that they want to go to some movie. I would say, मला नाही आवडत पिक्चरला जायला, तर मी नाही जाणार. So there ends your hobby. That is your hobby. But then someone said me, there is going to happen some course on design thinking at IIT Bombay. And I would say, I will attend that course. Why? Because I want to use it. I want to get certification in design thinking. I want to upgrade myself into this domain. And I'll move from Pune to Mumbai, IIT Bombay to attend that course. And what is it? So something has driven me, something has pushed me to attend that course. And the thing which pushes you or which drives you to do something is called as passion. And the thing which likes you, you do casually, oftenly, periodically, or since someone is doing is called as hobby. मग आता हे बघायचं कसं नेमकं? आता सगळ्यांनी इथे लिहिलं की हॉबी मला छान छान पदार्थ बनवणे आवडते, पॅशन विद्यार्थ्यांची आवडती शिक्षिका होणे. तर ह्याच्यासाठी सांगू का कसं कसं माहिती करायचं? हाऊ टू फाइंड आउट दॅट. सो पॅशन तुम्हाला जी गोष्ट रोज करण्यासाठी भाग पाडते, इंटरनल नॉट एक्सटर्नल, what drives us to do certain things is called as passion. The internal movement. It could be काय पण बऱ्याच लोकांनी लिहिलं होतं की कुणाला टीचिंग आवडतंय, कुणाला डान्सिंग आवडतंय. मग एकदा स्वतःमध्ये तुम्ही पीप इनटू युअरसेल्फ. जर तुम्हाला डान्सिंग हे जर तुमचं पॅशन असेल तर तुम्ही खरंच रोज त्याच्यासाठी काही करता? रोज नाही, पण तुम्ही कधीतरी जेव्हा वेळ मिळेल तेव्हा ते करता. इट इज नॉट वॉचिंग. मी डान्स शोला जातो, डान्स शो बघतो, डान्स शो वॉच करतो. दॅट इज नॉट पॅशन. पॅशन इज तुम्ही जे करता, व्हॉट ड्राइव्स यू टू डू. मला डान्स नाही करता येत म्हणून मी डान्सिंग नाही सोडलं. इट पुशेस मी, आय फील दॅट आय गेट समवन टू डू इट. मी बघते की त्याला मी कसं अस्तित्वात आणू, त्याला मी जर नाही करू शकली तर मी दुसऱ्यांसाठी काय करते. अँड दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज पॅशन विच ड्राइव्स यू फॉर समथिंग. सो दॅट इज पॅशन. अँड व्हॉट इज हॉबी? आवड. मला पुस्तक वाचायला आवडते, पण म्हणून काय मी वेळ काढून वाचते असं नाही होत. सवड मिळाली तर मी आवड करते, दॅट इज आवड. पण जेव्हा पॅशन ही गोष्ट आहे ना एका मर्यादेच्या बाहेर, जी मला ड्राईव्ह करते, मला वेळ नाही, माझ्याकडे सवड नाही, पण तरी पण मी वेळ काढते, मी मुद्दामून त्याच्यासाठी वेळ काढते आणि मी ते करते, दॅट इज पॅशन. आय गेस दिस इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट. कारण आज आपण जेव्हा डिझाईन थिंकिंग मध्ये इथून पुढे आपण सुरू करणार आहे, आपण एज्युकेशन डिझाईन थिंकिंग फॉर एज्युकेशन, आज हा टॉपिक जेव्हा आपण याला हात लावणार आहे, तर वी शुड बी व्हेरी व्हेरी क्लिअर, because at some point of time we need to touch the extremities of passion. So it's very
ब्लँक
important to
स्लाइड आहे हे
understand the
मॅडमने
difference
आधी
between
सांगितलंय. एक्सक्यूज मी.
hobby and passion. So it is very very important to have this discussion or to have this thin line difference between what is passion and what is hobby. Moving further, yes, I think yesterday we have seen certain cases of design thinking. So even today, I thought before I move into a new thing, moving a bit, diving into design thinking, I'll get one more example of design thinking, and that is nothing but Airbnb. I don't know how many people know about Airbnb, but I hope people must be knowing about Airbnb. And this is how we will start with. What was Airbnb or what is Airbnb? Can anyone help me? कुणाला सांगता येईल?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Please raise your hand and unmute
Uh,
yourself and say, what is Airbnb? If anyone
Miss-
knows about it.
मॅम Airbnb एक असं ऍप आहे ज्याच्यामध्ये एक रूम रेंट वरती दिला जातं. हॅलो,
तुमचा आवाज नाही आला बरोबर.
आता येते मॅम?
हा आता येते. येस.
हा मॅम, Airbnb एक ऍप आहे ज्याच्यामध्ये रूम रेंट वरती दिला जातं.
Ma'am, Airbnb is an app where we can list our home for rental purpose.
Simple. Yes, that is Airbnb. Now, what is Airbnb doing this? Homes are ours and Airbnb is playing a platform as a mediator. Okay. So it is playing a platform as a mediator to rent that whoever registers with Airbnb. When Airbnb started, the first thing which I have put up here is, you can see, it was not finding good customer. So the thing was, it was struggling with low customer engagement. They were not getting customers. त्यांच्याकडे घरं तर मिळाली, आपल्यासारख्या सगळ्यांनी दिली की आमचं घर इथे रिकामा आहे बाबा, आम्हाला रेंटनी द्यायचं. सो Airbnb, आप हमें इसके लिए मदद कर दीजिए. That was already done. But the problem what Airbnb was facing was, कोई उनके पास ऐसा कोई आ ही नहीं रहता कि जो ये जो घर उनके पास रखे हैं उसको वो किराए से ले. So what then they do? What is the next step they did for it? So they and this is what is the best example of design thinking. So what did they do? ये पहुंचाया कैसे उन्होंने लोगों के पास? Ads देके. They forwarded to people, they reached the people, they reached the clients, they reached the customers by tweaking ads or by sending ads. Now what do? When they found happening this, the founders went to New York. What is New York? New York is the place from where Airbnb originated. That is where it is registered. So the founders of Airbnb, they directly reached New York, and from there, they themselves stayed in Airbnb homes, which were to rent. What's the next thing then? After staying there, they got to know there are certain pain points why users should use it. So what could be the pain points? It was not having good aesthetic. It does not give a flavor of something like, we cannot say a 5-star hotel, but like a good stay. There was nothing which could be handy in that house. There was nothing which could be handy near to the house. There was nothing who was to take care that at a minute call, someone would attend it. So certain such pain points were noted by the founders who themselves tried to make it happen. And then What is the next thing they saw? They realized poor photos. The people who used it earlier, they started posting the reviews for it, and which were staggering or which were causing the further engagements. So they were not getting, त्यांना मिळत नव्हतं, त्यांना पुढचं गिराईक मिळत नव्हतं. हे त्यांना केव्हा कळालं? जेव्हा त्यांनी हे नोटीस केलं, कधी, जेव्हा ते तिथे एअरबीएनबीच्या स्वतःच्या त्या घरात जाऊन राहिले, स्वतःच्या म्हणजे जे ते रेंट करणार आहेत त्या घरात जाऊन राहिले. And that time they noticed this, and this is what did they do finally? And then they helped the host to take better photos of that house, which they made with a good ambience, so that it could be rented. So this was a human-centered approach. आणि याच्यानंतर काय झालं माहितीये? This human-centered approach transformed Airbnb into a $1 billion company. आता याचं एक साधं उदाहरण, I would like to hear from someone your comments on it. एक साधी गोष्ट आहे. कुठली साधी गोष्ट? This is a very simple task. Airbnb is a platform which takes which takes vacant houses, and then it rents these houses to people who want to use it for certain days. Means here is the flat owner, here is the flat user. In between is Airbnb. So Airbnb is helping. Okay, noted. I'm using Hindi, but still better. Yeah. Okay, noted. So mostly I'll have English language only. Got it. Yeah. So Airbnb is a mediator platform. And what is? At two ends, there are two things. When they want to match this, when there is a good matching, then only Airbnb is going to have business. But what was noticed? People who want to rent their houses are not looking for Airbnb houses. And hence, the business was less with Airbnb. When the founders noted this, what did they do? They tried to find out themselves what is the problem. And for that, what did they do? They went to the founder place, the founding place, and then they themselves stayed in those homes which are going to be rented as Airbnb homes. Staying there, they got to know certain things. And what is this called as? This is called as human-centered approach. Yesterday, I think we have discussed good time on this human-centered approach. So what is human-centered approach? What others will be undergoing, what pain they must be having, so that certain things could be helped them to overcome this. And that is what they did. And how did it help them? It helped them by what? By increasing the engagement, because they got to know the ambience was not good. If the ambience was good, whatever was being floated in the ads was not in a right shape about that home, about the reviews. And that is what they helped the host to change the photos, to change the reviews. And this today, Airbnb is a $1 billion company. So this is one of the best example of design thinking. Yesterday also we saw a few examples. Moving a step ahead. So what is the learning out of this? What we have seen. So what is the learning? And here I have come up with that learning also, because henceforth I'll be asking such questions wherein you are supposed to make the answers for it. So sometimes the best solutions come not from what we think the problem is, but from our user experiences. And this is called as human-centered approach. Or generally, what is the thing? एखादा दुकान चालत नहीं, कोई अगर दुकान चल नहीं रहा है, तो हम क्या करते हैं? बैठ के वो रॉन्ग लोकेशन में ही है, वहां पे लोग आएंगे कैसे? वहां पे जो बंदा बैठा है वो ठीक से बात ही नहीं करता है, कोई सेल्समैन ऐसा है वो ठीक से सारी चीजें दिखाता ही नहीं है, उसके पास जो क्वालिटी है वो अच्छी क्वालिटी नहीं है, उसके पास जो वैरायटी है उससे ज्यादा वैरायटी तो दूसरी दुकान में है, तो इसका दुकान चलेगा कैसे? And this is not the exact thing. These are the judgments which we pass from our thought process. But design thinking says that do not believe, do not do any such thing. Directly go to the pinpoint and have the user experience. अगर वो दुकान चल नहीं रहा है तो उस दुकान में जो भी जा सकते हैं, जो क्लाइंट उस दुकान के लिए हो सकते हैं, डायरेक्टली उन्हीं से जाके पूछिए आप उस दुकान में क्यों नहीं जाते। कुछ महंगा होगा, कुछ सेल्समैन अच्छा नहीं होगा, कुछ वैरायटी नहीं होगा, कुछ क्वालिटी नहीं होगा, जो भी है नोट इट, वर्क ऑन इट, आई थिंक वो दुकान चलना चालू हो जाएगा। एंड दैट्स द सिंपलेस्ट वे what design thinking says, and this itself is called as human centered approach. Any question on this? Anything to be discussed? You can raise the hand and open the mic. No worries. Yes, customer friendly itself is a human centered approach. Very right. Very right. Customer friendly. What is customer? Customer is human. So if we are doing something for human, then it is human centered approach. Yes, Akshay ji, you can open the mic and you can just talk.
Yes, madam. I have to ask, madam. Recently, we are seeing that the number of students engagement in the classroom is reduced. So, can you apply this approach to the student?
Yes, we are applying and we are going to work on it. Just hold for a few minutes. We are going to do that. How to apply, how to do it. We are going to find out those tools. Don't worry. We are going to come to that. Very right. Yes,
Okay.
we are going to use that. Yeah, Ajit ji, please open your mic.
मॅडम मला पक्षी आणि प्राणी यांच्यासाठी काम करायचं आहे आणि
सर तुमचा
त्याच्यासाठी
आवाज का कमी येतोय? आवाज तुमचा कमी येतोय अजित जी.
पक्षी आणि प्राणी यांच्यासाठी जर मला काम करायचं असेल, येतो का आवाज?
अगदी लो आहे.
मी टेक्स्ट करतो मॅडम.
Yes, you're dropping the query in chat box, Ajit ji. Otherwise, I'll move further. It's not work on what is the expectation of customer. You cannot use the word of customer. Customer could be a word for this example. What I quoted about the shop. जो दुकान के बारे में मैंने कहा उसको आप कर सकते हो. But if you try to say it's overall a generic term, you're working for user 100%. So user could be a customer. User शायद हम खुद भी होंगे. कभी कभी हम खुद भी यूजर हो सकते हैं. जैसे कल मैंने एक एग्जांपल लिया था कि खुद के लिए सोचो, अपने बारे में सोचो. So that also could be.
आवाज येतोय का मॅडम आता?
हाँ बोला ना. हाँ
मॅडम, पक्षी आणि प्राणी यांच्यासाठी मला काम करायचं आणि त्याच्यासाठी विचार बांधायचे असतील तर ते डिझाईन थिंकिंग मध्ये येणार नाही का?
येणार,
म्हणजे
बिलकुल
पक्ष्यांचं
येणार.
घर यासाठी करायचं असेल तर?
येस, ते पण येणार डिझाईन थिंकिंग मध्ये, कारण तो ह्युमन सेंटर्ड अप्रोच आहे. कुणाला काय त्रास होतो त्याच्याप्रमाणे ते करावं लागते. वी विल मूव्ह थ्रू इट. येस, at the end of the session, come back with this question. I think you will come up with the solution also. If not, we will discuss. No worries. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
हाँ.
Ma'am, traditional problem solving and human centered approach म्हणजे मग यात कसं डिफरन्शिएट करता येईल?
Hold on for a while. We'll come into that. I'll go to the next slide. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
Yes. So that is somewhere I'm reaching to you the answers which are coming in everyone's mind. So I have taken the complete thing here as design thinking matters in education. क्योंकि अभी तक जो सारे दिए, कभी IBM वॉटसन का दिया, कभी Airbnb का एग्जांपल दिया, कल को कुछ और एग्जांपल दिया था. So I thought why not directly to touch to the pinpoint of how design thinking matters in education. Let me come to this. Yes. What is the traditional model? Ma'am, अभी आपने कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछा था. We are almost nearing to that. So what is the traditional education model? It's a fixed curriculum. Go to school, we will have, what are the subjects? English, Marathi, Hindi. Might be I would say English, I would say local language, regional language, local language, our mother tongue. Then the third is English language. We'll go to social sciences, we will go to maths, we'll go to sciences. As the standard goes on increasing, we will segregate social sciences, we will segregate science subjects, and that is how we will segregate even this, yes, mathematics again into some different part, and the other part that is your algebra, geometry, and there comes sciences into environmental science and something else. I'm just talking about school. I am not reaching to higher education because school is a common curriculum for everyone. Now the question is, these are standard subjects. My simple question to you all, think about it. We as a child, when we were school going, we learned all these subjects. Our previous generation learned all those subjects. Our next generation learned all those subjects. And almost we are into next to next generation. They are also learning the same subjects. Now just think, if we think of our parents. My parents means, I would say somewhere 4 decades back. If I think about it, is all the scenarios same? What is required for education from those days to this days means all 4 decades, is the scenario same? If the scenario is not same, why the subjects are same? If subjects are same, why the subjects are same in the same format? Yes, what do you say? Would you get my question? What did I pose you? I posed you in the school for 40 years, same subjects, in same way. How is it possible? When things around us are changing a lot, isn't it that we should change with the things? So that is about curriculum, and hence I said it as the traditional education model, fixed curriculum. Class mein aana hai. This is the curriculum which is given to us. Yes, curriculum is changing. 100% agreed. If curriculum is changing, we as a teacher, have we changed our mode of teaching? COVID था इसलिए हम online आ गए. But is it sincerely that we have changed our mode of thinking? I would request everyone to give the answer for this. This is the question for each of us as a teacher. COVID में भी हमने पढ़ाया तो online. We didn't teach. We were made to use that tool. But now, when the option is with us, are we changing our mode of teaching? Are we changing? Really? We should adopt this different. My question is, what is having in present? Are we changing? Are we changing the mode? No. We are not changing the mode. When we, all of us, were school going, we didn't had mobile. We didn't had so much of disruption. It's no way. It's nothing new. I'm not saying something new. I'm saying the fact which all of us know, which all of us have experienced and doing. We didn't had so much of distraction. When this generation is having distraction, then how can we expect the same mode of teaching which existed for us will be for them? Will it work? It will not work. 100% it will not work. And hence, design thinking matters in education. That is, the traditional education model, fixed curriculum, needs to be looked into as what? Students' needs are constantly evolving. So what the very first thing what we should look into? We should look into that it's not our thing. It's not the need of our. It is the need of the students. They are our customers. They are our clients, if we want to put that way. Or we as a profession, we are here to uplift the student's knowledge. In that case, we should use design thinking to see that things are really uplifted in the way what is expected. And that is the first step of design thinking in education. This is what I hope you got it. How design thinking is relevant to education. What about ancient education system? Yes, sir. Very nice thing you proposed. In ancient education system, the things were very different. Students were staying in Gurukuls. In Gurukul, they had only one task. What is said by the Guru is supposed to be done. The Guru never made him sit for 8 hours in a Bandh classroom, like what we do nowadays. True, things change, times change. Now, we in a classroom are having minimum 30 students. And that too with 8 different hours of 8 subjects. Each subject is having a content. So it's a task. It's a big task, agreed. But then we are doing our job of delivering the session. Have we ever thought what we delivered has been reached? And there comes design thinking. And there comes design thinking. Blackboard and chalk teaching is important. Agreed. So this is the point of discussion, sir. So I think I'll not go into that. I'll not touch that point at this moment. Otherwise, this complete our design thinking will take a different way. So I'll not go in that mode here. Now, here is a big statement related to this. Design thinking helps educators create innovative teaching strategies that prioritize student engagement and problem solving. And that is why design thinking is made for educators. Why? We have seen what is the need. We cannot stay with the traditional education model. We cannot go with the fixed curriculum. So if it is to be changed with time, then what needs to be done? We need to constantly evolve. We need to find that we are serving the students' need. And for that, what is the thing? Design thinking can help us in doing this. That is the meaning of it. Moving a step ahead. Design thinking is important for educators. Why? Because it encourages creative problem solving in teaching methodologies. It encourages, does not enforce anyone. Again, note the words. It encourages creative problem solving in teaching methodologies. Improves student engagement by designing learner-centered experiences. Helps redesign assessments to evaluate real-world skills and supports faculty in innovating curricula to keep up with technological changes. Okay. So going back to the first one, encourages creative problem solving. Simple. When you are going to make it user-friendly, let me tell you, design thinking is one of the subjects in the course wherein I am teaching engineering. I am with Symbiosis International Universities, Symbiosis Institute of Technology, which is an engineering constituent. We do have 7 different branches. And to each branch, there is a course called as design thinking. So each of this branch, I'm teaching design thinking. Let me tell you that design thinking, when I go to each class or each discipline, I discuss design thinking, but in a different way. I help them apply design thinking to their curriculum in a different way. So what does this mean? Design thinking is common for all, but the application of it is different for different discipline, different problems in different way. And that is what is said as encourages creative problem solving in teaching methodologies. Even here, today you are going to solve so many problems. You are going to do so many things today also. So this is just setting the basic tone. So that is what is design thinking helps the educators. Second thing is it improves student engagement. Why? Someone wrote here that chalk and talk and blackboard is the best way. So 100% agreed because a teacher is comfortable with it. Have we ever looked into the student's way? Are we students comfortable with our chalk and talk mode? A big question to all of us. Let it be our child. Our child is a student. Our own child is a student. Just give an option to him that you are given a chalk and talk mode and you are given a YouTube session. What will a school going child also prefer? He would say, Mama, मैं तो online education कर लूँगा, वो YouTube में देखूँगा and I'll get to know everything. Simple. Then it's our stake. What are the teachers here for? What are we supposed to do? So we are supposed to see that the learning experiences which the students get from us should be of complete engagement. And that help will be done by design thinking. So that is where design thinking helps the educators. Moving a step ahead again, helps redesign assessment. Again, हर किसी को सिर्फ एग्जाम लिखना है, जैसा मैंने बोला डिजाइन थिंकिंग आई हैव जस्ट कैंसल्ड, I wrote a mail to this university exam center and I said, I don't want any exam, question answer written exam for design thinking. I have to give so much long explanation of it. But I said, no, design thinking is not a subject wherein students will learn the answers. I'll put the questions and they will answer it. Absolutely not. Design thinking is an action approach to be applied to various things. So how is that the assessments are done? I give them assessments, typical examples, which are being carried. And on that examples, I do the assessment. But what happens in that case? If for checking the paper, I would need 1 hour, I need 2 hours for doing the assessment. So that is what it is. But design thinking helps us to do that. And finally, at the end, supports faculty in innovating curricula. So it is as per the need of the hour. For example, today we are everywhere, there is a new buzzword. It's not a buzzword, it's the need of the hour, we can say. Something has come up which we called as environmental sustainability. It's the need of the hour. No one can escape that. One has to be a part of it. Then this design thinking helps us to use that at various places in various subjects, not only any typical subject. So that is how design thinking helps us to deal with certain things. Yes. So here is a task for you all. I'll give you 5 minutes. Do not rush, because design thinking. Think about, and if you are having a notebook and pen, really I would appreciate, write on it and then put it in the chat box. Think about a challenge you have faced in teaching. Maybe student engagement, maybe assessment strategies, or classroom participation. It's not only you, it's all of us who have faced. As a teacher, we oftenly come across such things. Okay? Yes? So think about this, what challenge you have faced in teaching, write it, and then post it in the chat box. So I'll give you 2, 3, 4 minutes. No worries. But do not rush. Do not just write for the sake of writing. Okay? Yeah. Yes. I agree. Think. It's a design thinking session. It's not rapid fire question quiz. Think. Find out what challenge you have faced in teaching. Okay, if students' attendance is a problem, the students who are attending the class, post a challenge you have faced teaching them. Might be there is one single student in the class. Agreed. Now, the challenge is not about the things in the class, how many students are present. The challenge is you have faced in teaching. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. As new education policy came into education and found big loss of covering the total syllabus, students are not having seriousness in studying. Fine. Yes. Okay, very nice. Good. So these are the practical things which as a teacher you are facing, and that's the real fact. Okay, fine. Now, we are going to work on how is that a teacher is going to tackle this. How is that the teacher is going to tackle? You already listed your challenges. You already mentioned. So let us look into what we can do for this. So everyone is clear with that you are having certain challenges. And these are the challenges. You are clear with the challenge also. Let us find out how we can do what. Now the question is, how did you tackle it? Before we move to design thinking, we are going to go to that. Now I want the answer. Everyone has written one or the other challenge. True. How did you tackle it? Just give me a few pointers on that. What did you do to tackle it? Have you done anything to tackle it? One more thing. What you did right about it. Do not give suggestions. Apply this, do this. If you applied an innovative technique, what was that? Sometimes change the teaching pattern. So what is that teaching pattern you have applied? Yeah, I'm looking for it. Not concentration on learning. I think we as a teacher, we should think that now once that time is over, we should stop giving the answers for that because a new question has come up. Okay. So I think right now I'm expecting answers for this question. How did you tackle it? Fine. Good. Good. Yes. Create interest of subject, practical based education, apply new model of teaching. So what is that you have applied the new model? It is not a suggestion. I'm asking what did you do practically? Display defaulter list. I started my YouTube channel. Participative learning. Making new creative activities. Use of ICT tool. Creating new teaching style. Okay. Group discussion on, okay, train students. Fine. Poster making, use of ICT, arranging study tool, group discussion. Okay. Student parent visit. One-to-one interaction, create interest in students. Giving importance to attending co-curricular activities. Fine. Case studies, conducting activities, arrange co-curricular activity. Animations use, field visit, practical activities. True, nice. Exposure visit. Mentor-mentee meeting per month. I use collaborative learning. Very right. विद्यार्थी engagement वाढवणे. Reading the book. Make it hands-on. Use C-lab kits. Demonstration. Practical-oriented. Practical activity. Good, good, good. Yes. So many things. So it is, we know the challenges also. And we are finding out some of the solutions to do this. Okay. Yes, very right. I'll come post it with you these actions. We are going to have a discussion on that also. Now, the question is, might be few things. Collaborative learning. I don't know how people have done that. That I'm not going into deep of it. But one question. A class is of minimum, I would say, 30 students. And we are using group discussion. Is it ensured that all 30 students are getting engaged in that act? One thing. All 30 students are getting engaged in that act is one of the things. If we are using something like reading the book, is it that the students are interested in reading? That's the question. So two questions for some activities which you have mentioned here. Might be here it is asked to prepare charts, flashcards, presentation. Very true. If it is done individually, everyone will be interested. If it is not done individually, if it is a teamwork, when we do this collaborative learning methods, we make a group of either 2 or 3 in that collaborative learning. Is it that all the students are involved over there? Is it that they work, all of them work? Might be there would be someone who may not like doing that. Have you ever noticed that? That is human-centered approach. Okay, yeah. So touching on these points, now, if you have ensured that whatever act you are doing is really of the interest of the students, write yes in the chat. All of you have tackled the challenge by using one or the other activity. Agreed? Yes. Agreed. So have you ensured that they are interested in the activity which you have done or you have given? Good. Yes. You have ensured. That's really good. That's really nice. Yes. Fantastic. Yes. So what is the thing is, if you have ensured that this activity which you have given to the students, they are finding it interesting and they are involving in that itself is nothing but a human-centered approach. Clear with it? So what's the mean of it? Topper students are interested, means rest of the students are not interested. Oh my God. If rest of the students are not interested, our job is to see that every student learns in the class. Then what's the other effort which one has done to see that it reaches to other students? I think. And that is what is nothing but a human-centered approach. I guess now you must be clear with what is human-centered approach and how that is to be used in education, at least at this moment. I hope. Am I right? Yes. Any query regarding this? Any query regarding this? Okay. I'll move ahead once again. Now here comes the 5-stage design thinking process. So what is design thinking? Design thinking is an approach. How is that approach completed? That approach is completed, or it's a process with 5 steps. What is the first step? Empathize. The second step is define what you have empathized. The third step is ideate what is being defined. Build a prototype for what is being ideated and test the prototype which is built. So 5 steps. First is empathize. Then comes define. Then comes ideate. Then comes prototype. And then comes test. What is empathize? In simple way. Again, I think yesterday also we have touched upon this word. We have come across this word. Understanding the real needs to the students. What is empathy? Empathy is understanding others. Anyway, we are going to discuss today itself. We will touch upon that every separate step we are going to do. So we will touch upon empathy in detail, a bit later part of it. But still, what is empathize? Empathize, understand others. There are 10 students in the class. We gave some task. 8 were doing rightly, 2 were not doing. As a teacher, what do we do in that case? Please write in the chat box. There are 10 students to whom we have given some act. 8 students do it rightly. 2 students are not involved. They are not showing any interest. What, as a teacher, what do we do? Yes, understand why students are disengaged. Very true. Yes, how do we understand? How do we do that? Very true. And that itself is empathy. We generally, I don't know, it's such a nice ideal answer, but I really don't know. The very first thing as a teacher, what do? We shout on them. I have given you some tasks, 8 are doing, why you 2 are not doing? And that's a general mode of a teacher, irrespective of me or you, any one of us. That's the general mode. What do? The very first thing, we will go and we will scold them. And then what's the second thing? We are not supposed to scold them, but we are trying to understand. We should try to understand why they are not engaging as what you have written the ideal answer over there. And that is nothing but empathy. So once we understand their problem, then what do? we try to make it, oh इसको तो ये प्रॉब्लम इसको समझ में नहीं आता, अच्छा इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है कि इसको कोई टेंशन है, अच्छा इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है कि इसको इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं इस सब्जेक्ट में. So define it. So that's definition. After you define it, now you think इस बच्चे का इसमें इंटरेस्ट नहीं है तो इसको तो ये सब्जेक्ट सीखना ही है, इट्स मैंडेटरी फॉर हिम. सो what could be done so that he gets interest in it, and that is ideation. After you ideate it, now try to experiment it. So what do I make a prototype? मैं इस बच्चे को ऐसा असाइनमेंट दूंगी so that he will work on it and he will make it interesting. So that is prototype, and at the end give that assignment to the student, test it whether it works or not. And this is a 5-stage design thinking process. Got it? I took it this 5 steps in a fast way, but I guess I don't know how many of you could get it. Yes? Any question, any queries regarding this? Empathies, first of all, understand. After you understand he is having a problem, define that problem. What is the problem? Make the problem. Once you make the problem, find or work on how you can give or do ideation so that you can give a solution to that defined problem. Once you define certain things, build a complete SOP of it, a complete rule book of it, a complete algorithm of it, that is prototype, and finally test it, run it, execute it. So this is how the 5 steps of design thinking process goes. I ever tell to my students, how do you remember? Because this you can apply at any domain of our life. We can apply them to our personal life. We can apply them to our professional life. We can apply them to any network, might be our friends network anywhere. And I term it as EDIPT, EDIPT. So to remember is with a very easy way, EDIPT, EDIPT. So if you remember EDIPT, it's a 5-stage design thinking process, which could be applied anywhere, any point of time. And that is 5-stage design thinking process. Let us now move into a bit of, I'm talking in English and Hindi language. English only mostly. Yeah, Krishna. I think I'm mostly conversing in English. I don't know. Might be sometimes I must have used Hindi and sometimes Marathi. Yes. So importance of design thinking in education and research. What it could be. Let us look into. So the very first thing what it does. Rote learning. I hope people must be knowing rote learning. What is rote learning? Rote learning is mugging up the things. Usko पढ़ो 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 usko याद करो 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 memory का test करो. And that is nothing but rote learning. Ratta, a very perfect thing. Yes, ma'am. You said it very rightly. It's called as ratta, mugging up. True. Yes. It shifts from rote learning to experiential learning. What is experiential? Do it and you remember it. Confiscus said this. If you do it, if you involve in it, you will remember it. If you mug it up, if you do it ratta, there is not many chance that someday you will forget it. Go come patti. Nakki viskayla honar. That is very true. Yes. Now, then what else does design thinking give? वो हमें और क्या देता है? Design thinking enhances student engagement since it is human centered. वो क्या कर रहा है? It is making us possible to improve the student engagement. बच्चों को पढ़ाई में ज्यादा खींचने का gravity we will get with design thinking. Encourages creative problem solving. We have already seen this. And it develops critical thinking skills. I have come to a new word called as critical thinking skills. So anyone, not any chat GPT, give me a simple example. What do you mean by critical thinking skill? Yeah. What is a critical thinking skill? Yes. Anyone who can help me? What is a critical
Hello,
thinking?
ma'am. May I?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, critical thinking in the sense, na, that is, I mean, without getting emotionally involved, by looking at the situation in a more dispassionate and objective manner and giving solutions.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
By studying the pros as well as cons and accordingly taking a decision.
Yes. Critical thinking is you go through a view which could be what could be benefited out of it and what I will lose out of it. Think it from that perspective and give a thought before doing it very randomly. That is what is called as critical thinking. So it's a skill. Remember, it's a life skill. It's not something. It's not something. It's a very, very right skill. Design thinking prepares students for the future, not only for exams. It's making the generations. It's building the generations. And that is what. So let us move towards something called as design thinking transforms teaching methods. What is the first type of method? It should be student-centric learning. I think NAP is talking about it. This is as good as a buzzword in the air everywhere. So student-centric learning. What is student-centric learning? Whatever we are talking about, our teaching method should not be how I teach. Our teaching method should be in a way that how a student learns. It should not be from our perspective, it should be from learner's perspective. A simple example of this I'll give. You have dialed a number on your mobile phone. Got it? Yes, you have dialed a number. The number got connected. The number got connected. So you're talking, you said hello. The other person said hello. Now what happened? You are conveying a message. The receiver at the end didn't had a good network. So what is that? According to you, mobile communication happened. You delivered the message, but the receiver did not receive the message. So do we say that a communication happened? In that case, do we say? Why? Because according to the first person, the communication is done because he conveyed the message. Agreed. 100% agreed. But what is according to the second person? According to the second person, he could not receive the message. So he didn't know anything. So the communication was not done. Now what would have been ensured that the communication is done? क्या हो सकता है जिसमें हम ये जायजा ले कि कम्युनिकेशन हुआ? जो मैसेज फोन करने वाले ने किया है वो फोन लेने वाले के पास पहुंचा है. So how to ensure that? The simple way to ensure that is the receiver should give back a message stating yes, okay, something, some response. I received it or some comment, whatever the comment is expected. So that would have been a foolproof communication. And same thing happens in teaching learning method here. So what happens, dear friends? What we do as a teacher, we go to the class. We are having our own curriculum. We are having our own topic. We are having our own lecture. We are supposed to go to the class. We are supposed to deliver the lecture. हमको syllabus finish करना, खत्म करना. And then what do? We go, we deliver, and we come back. And according to us, things are done. But let me tell you, the things are zero. No teaching learning happens. Rather, what we should do? We should do student-centric learning, wherein the teacher, when he goes to the class, ensures that the students are learning in the class. And that is what is taught by design thinking. So design thinking transforms teaching methods. Feedback is important, agreed. But let me tell, feedback क्यों important? Feedback तो सारी चीज करने के बाद हो गया. पंछी दाना खा गया, उसके बाद हमने feedback ले लिया. So it is okay for the next session. But how is that I'm ensuring that this session is also in the right way? So that is what it is. So we should think, instead of teaching, it should be student-centered learning. What's the next second thing? It encourages collaboration. It 100% encourages collaboration. What do you mean by collaboration? Even today, I'm going to put it. 2-3 people you can put together. At the end, the task which will be given to you, the assignment which will be given to you, I need to see how I can collaborate with people over there. Because there is a big number, otherwise I would have right away put up you in breakout rooms. I would have made a team of 4-4-4, but हमारा strength थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, so might be I may not be able to do that at this moment. But then that is how encourages collaboration. Let me tell you, I'm a professor of E&S engineering. I believe I practice design thinking. I'm not only a teacher of design thinking, I experimented. So although a professor of Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, I do have researchers with me working from engineering background by default. And engineering, I do have someone is working in AIML. I do have someone who is working in IoT. I do have someone who is working in blockchain. I do have someone who is working into nanotechnology. I do have someone who is working into menstrual cycle thing. I do have a person who is working into mental health. So something from medical sciences. I do have a person who is working into dialysis equipment. I do have someone who is working into startup and its theory. And I'm going to have one more person who is going to work into design thinking itself, researcher. So let me tell you how many domains I have said this to you, because it's collaboration. And that is what I experience, is certain things which are coming up from this are really out of blue. The best part of it is coming up. Okay, so what I mean with this, encourages collaboration. सारी जगह से आप लोगों को इकट्ठा कर सकते हैं. क्लास में भी do not say that आप कोई भी टास्क जब दे रहे हो तो कोई एक बच्चे को मत दीजिए. What you can do is you can club it with someone else. Remember one more thing, every time the one who is sitting next to the desk should not be made as a collaborator. आप किसी तीसरे को पकड़ को उनके साथ उनकी टीम बना दीजिए. That is what design thinking teaches. So this is encouraging collaboration. Hands-on learning approach शायद हम सब लोग करते हैं. लैब्स में हम प्रैक्टिकल्स लेते हैं, मैथ्स में हम सब्जेक्ट्स देते हैं, हम राइटिंग करवाते हैं, कुछ MCQs करवाते हैं, क्वेश्चन पेपर्स देते हैं. तो somewhere we do hands-on learning approach. Promotes iteration and feedback. आप लोग जो फीडबैक कह रहे थे वो आ गया इधर. Promotes iteration. अगर फीडबैक हुआ है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने जो आपको कहा था कि पूरे सेशन के बाद अगर हम फीडबैक ले रहे हैं और बाद में बच्चों ने कहा कि उन्हें ये समझ नहीं आया, तो मतलब क्या बना? देन व्हाट इज इट? अगर फीडबैक में आता है कि हमें समझ नहीं आया, तो वी शुड गो बैक एंड वी शुड रिपीट दैट टास्क. वो टास्क वापस रिपीट होना चाहिए, जिसको कहते हैं इटरेशन. नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स टिल द रिसीवर रिसीव्स इट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज ensuring that the student is learning in the class. And this is what design thinking transforms teaching methods. A very fantastic thing. Yeah. Before I move, a time for discussion. Yes, it is open. Anyone wants to say anything? Otherwise, it's going monotonous, I feel.
मॅडम, विद्यार्थ्यांना इच्छाच नसते त्यावेळेला काय करायचं हा प्रश्न आहे.
अच्छा, विद्यार्थ्यांना कशाची इच्छा नसते सर ते सांगा.
ते शिकण्याची, म्हणजे टास्क दिलं त्यांना, अभ्यास करा, वाचा, ऐकायला तयार असतात, कारण ऐकलं न ऐकलं ते तपासता येत नाही ना. वाचा, नोट्स लिहा, तर त्या टास्क त्यांना नको वाटतात, डोईजड वाटतात.
हो सर, आता एक छोटी गोष्ट तुम्ही जे आता बोललात, खरंच आता हा काळ आहे का जिथे मुलांनी नोट्स लिहाव्यात. माझा पर्सनल नाहीये. लेट अस डिस्कस हियर, वी कॅन टॉक अबाउट इट, बिकॉज डिझाईन थिंकिंग कॅन हेल्प अस टू डू दॅट. हा काळ आहे जिथे
काय बदल झाला?
मुलांनी
कारण
नोट्स
परीक्षा पद्धती ज्या आहेत ना त्या तशाच आहेत ना, त्यांना लिहावंच लागतं परीक्षेमध्ये.
हा, तर नोट्स नाही लिहायचं अपेक्षित करायचं सर. त्यांना काय लिहायला सांगायचं की हा प्रश्न तुला कितपत समजला, तिथे तू याचं उत्तर लिह. आपण जेव्हा नोट्स म्हणतो तेव्हा असं होतं की आपण जे वर्गात दिलं ते मुलांनी लिहिणं अपेक्षित आहे. ज्या दिवशी आपण त्याला म्हणू की तू वरचं हे फळ्यावरचं बघून कॉपी नको करूस, पण तू तुझा लिहिण्याचा प्रयत्न कर. तुम्ही एक दिवस एखाद्या मुलाला हे म्हणून बघा की ठीक आहे, तुला नाही ना कॉपी करायचंय, नको करूस, आणि तू
नाही,
करू
इट्स
पण
राईट
नको.
राईट. हे समजतं, हे समजतं. बरोबर आहे,
मॅडम
बरोबर, राईट.
हा मॅडम
तर ज्यावेळी तुम्ही त्याला म्हणाल ना की मग तू लिही, तर तो तुमचं बोर्डवरचं कॉपी करायला लागेल. तुम्ही करून बघा सर.
येस, राईट. आय एग्री, एग्री.
येस,
एक्सक्यूज मी मॅम.
येस प्लीज.
हा मॅम, जसं की आता सर बोललेत की विद्यार्थ्यांना काही करायची इच्छा नसते. हा प्रॉब्लेम मलाही बऱ्याच वेळेस येतो. म्हणजे मुलींना जेव्हा मी स्टुडंटला शिकवते, तर मुली काय म्हणतात की नाही मॅम, आज काहीच करायचं नाही. प्रॅक्टिकल पण, इव्हन प्रॅक्टिकलला तर एवढे एक्साइट पाहिजे, पण नसतात मुली, नको म्हणतायत. तर त्यावेळेस काय करायला पाहिजे?
हो, मग त्यांना काय इंटरेस्ट होत नाही हे बघावं लागेल. हे बघायला पाहिजे की त्यांना ते इंटरेस्टिंग का वाटत नाही. म्हणजे
मॅडम.
काहीतरी काहीतरी कारण नक्कीच असणार आहे मॅम. असं नाही की काही कारण. आयदर त्यांना वाटतंय की ही इतकी सोपी गोष्ट आहे की याच्यासाठी गरजच नाही. आयदर असं असू
मॅडम मी
शकतं.
तर
एक
मॅडम
गोष्ट
मी
अशी
काय
असू
करतो
शकते की
त्यांना
त्यांना वाटेल की इथेही करायची गरजच नाही. शक्यता आहे, म्हणजे सांगता येत नाही.
मॅडम,
त्यांना काय वाटतं
एक्सक्यूज
याच्याविषयी
मॅडम.
आपण भाकीत नाही करू शकत, पण शक्यता है कि त्यांना वाटत असेल कि ये करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, ये तो ऐसे ही हो जाएगा. क्यों चाहिए?
इंटरप्रिटेटिव्ह नेचर राहिलेलं नाही आहे मॅडम.
इन्क्युसिटिव्ह नेचर नाही आहे. इन्क्युसिटिव्ह नेचर डिझाईन थिंकिंग आपल्याला सांगेल की कसं इन्क्युसिटिव्ह नेचर क्रिएट करायचं. दॅट इज व्हेरी
मैडम यहाँ मेरा
नाही
अनुभव
नाही,
अलग है।
आता त्या
इंटरप्रिटेटिव्ह नेचर
सरांनी
राहिलेलं नाहीये मुलांचं.
नाहीये, नाही ना, 100% नाहीये. नाहीये मॅम. म्हणून ऍज अ टीचर वी कॅनॉट लिव्ह इट. मग आपलं कर्तव्य आहे की ते क्रिएट कसं करायचं, आणि तेच आपण डिझाईन थिंकिंग थ्रू करणार आहे.
नो मैम।
That is what we are
हाँ
going to do.
नमस्ते मैडम। हाँ प्रॉब्लेम असा
माझा एक
होतोय।
प्रश्न आहे, मॅम.
प्लीज एकानंतर एक विचारा. प्लीज रेज युअर
एक
हँड्स.
मिनिट. आय गेस रेखा
हॅलो.
मॅडमनी हात वर केलेला आहे. आय रिक्वेस्ट यू प्लीज रेज युअर हँड्स. विल टेक
Yes.
वन बाय वन प्लीज.
Yes, thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Sometimes students, they are simply physically present and they pretend असं दाखवतात की सगळं समजलंय, and they are just physically present. असं बरेचदा होतं.
बरेचदा
हा
नहीं
हा
मैम,
महत्वाचा पॉइंट आहे.
मैक्सिमम टाइम्स होता है ये।
हाँ।
तो बार बार होता है, हर किसी के क्लास में होता है. आपके होता है, मेरे होता है, यहाँ पे जितने लोग हैं सबके क्लास में ही होता है. दैट इज वेरी ट्रू. एंड हेंस आई सेड दैट हाउ आर वी इंश्योरिंग दैट द स्टूडेंट इज लर्निंग. उसके लिए क्या करना पडेगा, त्याच्यासाठी मध्ये मध्ये आपल्याला काहीतरी करावं लागेल. अँड दॅट इज व्हॉट वी आर गोइंग टू लुक इन टू दिस डिझाईन थिंकिंग इन एज्युकेशन. वी आर गोइंग टू डू दॅट ओनली. कि मग हे न होण्यासाठी काय करायचं. सो नाउ वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड. हमने वो देखा है कि सब जगह प्रॉब्लम तो है. मोबाइल लक्ष्य विचलित करतो. 100% येस, वेरी ट्रू. सो वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड, वी आर गोइंग टू एन्श्योर हाउ दे आर लर्निंग. दिस इज द चॅलेंज. 100% अग्री. येस राजेश सर, यू वॉन्ट टू से समथिंग?
हा मॅडम नमस्कार. मी झुलॉजीचा प्राध्यापक आहे. तर माझा पण असा अनुभव आहे की विद्यार्थी म्हणजे मी जो पॅटर्न राबवतो वर्गामध्ये तो मला बऱ्यापैकी सक्सेसफुल वाटतो. की मी जेव्हा लेक्चरला जातो तेव्हा मुलांना मी सांगतो की तुम्हाला शिकवताना 100% फोकस माझ्याकडे हवं आहे, आणि तुम्हाला जो नवीन मुद्दा कळलेला आहे तो तुम्ही तुमच्या नोटबुकमध्ये लिहा. म्हणजे ते तुमचे नोट्स येऊन जाते, रनिंग नोट्स टाईप थोडंसं ते होऊन जातं, आणि विद्यार्थ्यांचा फोकस पण वाढतो की 100% लक्ष द्यायचं, आणि जो नवीन मुद्दा जो त्यांना कळलेला आहे तो तिथे नोटबुकमध्ये लिहून काढायचा. असं बऱ्यापैकी मी ऑब्झर्व केलं की ते मुलं लक्ष देतात त्यावेळेस.
Good. So that's a tactic. See, sir has shared something how he does that approach. So people can use that approach. Yes. Manisha ma'am.
हॅलो मॅम.
Yes.
हा, मला माझा एक्सपिरियन्स शेअर करायचा आहे. मी बॉटनीची टीचर आहे आणि इव्होल्युशन पॉप्युलेशन जेनेटिक्स असा सब्जेक्ट मी या सेमिस्टरला त्यांना शिकवतीये.
ओके.
तर ते त्यांना कळावं यासाठी त्यांना असाइनमेंट म्हणून मी त्यांना काही मूव्हीज बघायला किंवा काही डिस्कव्हरी, नॅशनल जिओग्राफिकच्या सिरीज बघायला सांगितल्या होत्या. आणि त्या बघितल्यानंतर दे बिकम व्हेरी क्युरियस अबाउट द सब्जेक्ट. त्यांना त्या सब्जेक्टमध्ये इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट झाला. अँड नाऊ दे आर सेइंग बाय देअर ओन की मॅडम या टॉपिकवर आता मी सेमिनार देणार आहे.
व्हेरी नाईस. फंटास्टिक.
आणि इव्हन ते एकमेकांसोबत सब्जेक्ट लँग्वेज मध्ये बोलत असतात.
व्हेरी ट्रू. सो
सर्वायवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट and Darwin's theory of natural selection and that kind of thing.
So
and they are not at all ready to miss the lecture.
Very nice. So it should be really appreciable. So I think she has given one more clue to all of you. What did she do? She did all the things which are being given here. She did student-centric learning. She ensured that students are learning. So what they like, she did that. She encouraged collaboration in a way that she had shown something so that students started collaborating. She gave hands-on learning because she asked them to go through to this channel, to watch this, to see this, to do that. Agreed? And that is what is design thinking makes you do. So might be she was not knowing that this is a part of design thinking, but Dr. Manisha ma'am did it. Yes. So got it? This is one of the way. Going to Dr. Sachin sir. Yes, sir, please.
हॅलो मॅडम, मी सोलापूरवरून बोलतोय मॅडम. केमिस्ट्री ह्या विषयामध्ये मी शिकवतोय आज ते 4 वर्षापासून. मुलांची संख्या 23-24 मध्ये एक 60-70% मुलं यायची. नंतर पुन्हा 24-25 मध्ये ते 50% आलेत आता मुलं. आम्ही खूप मेंटॉर मेंटी केलं किंवा वेगवेगळे ऍक्टिव्हिटी राबवतोय. त्यांना स्पोर्ट आवडायचं स्पोर्ट घेतोय, म्हणजे जे मुलांना आवडतंय किंवा NSS असेल किंवा इतर ऍक्टिव्हिटी मध्ये सर्वांमध्ये भाग म्हणजे ऍक्टिव्हिटी आम्ही राबवतोय. तरी सुद्धा मुलांचा कल खूप कमी झालेला आहे. काय करायला पाहिजे? आम्ही सर्व काही करतोय, मात्र यश तसं म्हणावं तसं येत नाही काहीच.
अगदी बरोबर सर, तुमचं म्हणणं बिलकुल मान्य आहे. आणि तुमचं नाही, हा प्रॉब्लेम सगळ्यांचा आहे, माझा सुद्धा आहे. तर व्हॉट इज दॅट वी आर सपोज टू डू? तुम्ही सगळ्या ऍक्टिव्हिटी राबवता, तुम्ही खेळ घेता, सगळं घेता. तुम्ही खेळ कशाचे घेता? क्रिकेट, फुटबॉल. पण परत जेव्हा तुम्ही तुमच्या सब्जेक्टला येता, जेव्हा तुम्ही तुमच्या विषयाकडे धाव घेता, त्यांना ते आवडत नाही. मग असं का नाही करत का हा विषयच त्या खेळात नेता तुम्ही? ते मुलं तिथे असतील. दॅट इज कॉल्ड स्टुडंट सेंट्रिक लर्निंग. तुम्ही आता काय करता की तुम्हाला वाटतंय की मुलांनी खेळावं म्हणून तुम्ही खेळ ठेवले. तो आला, त्यांनी क्रिकेट खेळलं, तो घरी निघून गेला. कारण क्रिकेट नंतरचा तास हा विषयाचा तास आहे. असं करा ना, तो विषयच तुम्ही क्रिकेटमध्ये न्या ना.
करेक्ट. म्हणजे तसं म्हणजे तिथं आपल्याला ऍप्लिकेशन तसं द्यावं लागेल.
येस, दॅट इज स्टुडंट सेंट्रिक लर्निंग सर. आणि त्यालाच म्हणतात की मुलाला काय आवडते. मी हेही मान्य करते की इट इज अ टफ टास्क. आपण प्रत्येक मुलाकडे प्रत्येक गोष्ट बघू शकत नाही. बट देर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड अ सोशल इन्फ्लुएन्स ऑल्सो. जे आता आपण सगळे लिहितोय की मोबाईलमुळे डिस्ट्रॅक्शन होते, दिस इज सोशल इन्फ्लुएन्स. हे सोशल इन्फ्लुएन्सच आहे. तर मग त्या ठिकाणी हा आपल्याला विचार करायचा आहे. अँड दिस इज वेअर डिझाईन थिंकिंग इज टू बी अप्लाइड इन टीचिंग मेथड्स. वी आर गोइंग टू डू दॅट बाय द एंड ऑफ दिस workshop. We all will be doing it, don't worry. But then today we are discussing what would be the challenges. काय गोष्टी आहेत, काय अडथळे आहेत, क्या क्या दिक्कतें हो सकती है या क्या क्या दिक्कतें है. So that is what we are discussing so that we can find a solution for it.
घडी बाहेर ठेवली.
थँक्यू मॅडम.
Yes.
नमस्कार मॅडम.
Anything from rest of the teachers? If the question, if the sharing is the same, I would say let us move to the next.
मॅडम
Yes.
मॅडम, एक क्वेश्चन होता.
हा बोला ना.
मॅडम, आता रिसेंटली ज्यावेळेस आम्ही मुलांना म्हणजे मुलांची जी क्रिएटिव्ह थिंकिंग आहे ती एकदमच कमी झालेली आहे. मुलांना एकमेकांचे असाइनमेंट कॉपी करणे किंवा काही दिलेले असेल ते पणाने काहीही करणं असं झालेलं आहे. आपण कितीही टीचर म्हणून इंटरेस्ट घेऊन त्यांना शिकवण्याचा प्रयत्न केला तर ते आपल्याला त्याचं आन्सर काय आहे किंवा त्याचा अभ्यासात मला कसा फायदा होईल एवढाच फक्त त्यांचा जो विचार आहे तो झालेला आहे. त्यातून काही नवीन शिकायला मिळेल किंवा मला माझ्या सिलेबस पलीकडे काही शिकायचं आहे.
तिकडे इकडे जायचं काय लोहाऱ्याकडे?
नाही
मग इकडे सेंटरला जायचंय.
अगदी बरोबर आहे. सर तुम्ही जे बोललाय ते अगदी बरोबर आहे, मान्य आहे. त्यांची क्रिएटिव्ह थिंकिंग कमी झालेली आहे. ऍज अ टीचर इट इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू सी दॅट इट इज रिटेन्ड. ती तशीच राहील किंवा त्यांची क्रिएटिव्ह थिंकिंग ही वाढवता तर येणार नाही, कारण क्रिएटिव्ह हा बाय बॉर्न असतो. तर त्यांचा आपल्याला कसं हे जशी त्यांची ती थिंकिंग आहे जन्मता जी आहे नॅचरल, ती आपल्याला कशी परत ऍक्टिव्ह मोड मध्ये आणता येईल याच्यावर आपल्याला काम करावं लागेल सर. व्हेरी ट्रू. येस.
हॅलो.
हा
मॅडम, मी लक्ष्मण गायवट बोलते संगमनेरवरून.
बरं.
माझा प्रश्न म्हणजे माझं म्हणणं किती जणांना पटेल न पटेल मला माहित नाही, पण जनरली हल्ली माझं एक ऑब्झर्वेशन असं आहे की चांगले चांगले मोठे मोठे ग्रँटेड कॉलेज आहेत तिथे आपण सगळं टीचिंग लर्निंग लॅबोरेटरी सगळ्या गोष्टी इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर व्यवस्थित आहे. पण आजूबाजूला बऱ्याच ठिकाणी, फक्त आमच्याच भागात नाही तर बऱ्याच ठिकाणी नॉन ग्रँड कॉलेज सुरू झालेले आहेत. आणि हे नॉन ग्रँड कॉलेजमध्ये इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर नाहीये, लॅबोरेटरी नाहीये, स्टाफ नाहीये, तरी पण मुलांचे ऍडमिशन मात्र चांगल्या वेल इस्टॅब्लिश कॉलेजपेक्षा जास्त आहेत. मुलं तिथे जास्त ऍडमिशन घेत आहेत. ते पास कसे होत आहेत यावर मी बोलायला नको. तर ग्रँटेड कॉलेजमध्ये किंवा चांगल्या कॉलेजमध्ये येणारी मुलं म्हणतात की तिकडे गेलं तर तुमच्यापेक्षा मार्कही जास्त पडतायत, तिकडे पासही होतो, तिकडे कोणी विचारत पण नाही, मग तुमच्याकडे काय यायचं. आणि मग त्यामुळे मुलांची जी मानसिकता बदलली, त्याच्यासाठी तुम्ही त्यांना टीचिंग लर्निंग या बाकीच्या सगळ्या गोष्टी सांगा. मायसेल्फ माझ्या कॉलेजमधली परिस्थिती बरी आहे, पण ज्यावेळेस मी मित्रांना विचारतो अरे काय परिस्थिती आहे, अरे बाबा ऍडमिशन 70 आहेत 80 आहेत, पण 30-40 मुलं येत आहेत, मलाही माझ्या वर्कलोडची काळजी आहे, त्यामुळे मीही प्रेझेंटी लावून देतो. म्हणजे याकडे प्रत्येक जण फक्त प्लेड करून देतोय, बॉल पुढे टाकतोय, स्टंप आउट पण होत नाही. खेळ चाललाय, खूप व्यवस्थित खेळ चाललाय, मनोरंजन होतंय, पण पिढ्यानपिढ्या बर्बाद होत आहेत. याबाबत मुलांची जी मानसिकता आहे ती म्हणतायत की आम्ही कामही करतोय, आम्हाला डिग्री मिळते, आम्ही का तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये यावं. आणि ही वस्तुस्थिती आहे, कदाचित लोक नाकारतील, पण ही वस्तुस्थिती आणि खूप भयानक वस्तुस्थिती आहे. त्यामुळे टेस्ट ट्यूबला हात न लावता ऑर्गॅनिक केमिस्ट्री होत आहेत, कुठलाही प्राणी न पाहता झुलॉजीमध्ये पोरं MSc म्हणून जात आहेत. मी बऱ्याच वेळा पीजीच्या इकडे तिकडे एक्झाम म्हणून जातो, त्यावेळेस फक्त आपल्याकडे पाहून घेतला तर सर घेतलंय बघा बा तुम्ही काय करायचं ते. आणि ही परिस्थिती सर्व महाराष्ट्रभर आहे, कारण एक सोशल अवेअरनेस असल्यामुळे मी खूप लोकांना विचारतो की अरे बाबा तुमच्याकडे काय परिस्थिती आहे. झाकलीमुठ 1.25 लाखाची झाली, मग ही जर झाकलीमुठ 1.25 लाखाची झाली तर आपण हे सगळं करतो, तुम्ही खूप तळमळीने करताय. मी मागेही तुमचं वर्कशॉप जे होतं FDP तो अटेंड केला, पुण्यामधले FDP अटेंड करतोय. मनामध्ये खूप तळमळ आहे, पण परिस्थिती मात्र खूप भयानक आहे. आणि या भयावह परिस्थितीतून मुलं बाहेर पडतायत, फक्त बचाव करून ते बाहेर जात आहेत. अगदी ग्रामीण भाषेत म्हणायचं झालं तर ऊसातून जात आहेत, पण पाचट अंगाला लागू देत नाहीत आणि पुढे जाऊन म्हणतात की येस डन सक्सेस. याबाबत थोडस बोलावं असं वाटतं.
तुम्ही म्हणताय ते मला कुठेतरी पटतंय सर, पण ह्या सगळ्या मागचं तुम्ही जे आता वक्तव्य केलं, मला असं वाटतं त्या सगळ्या मागचा एकच उद्देश आहे की डिग्री घेणे आणि बाहेर पडणे. अगदी साधं, बरोबर आहे सर. पण आपण जे आता बोलतोय, आपण हे डिग्री घेण्यावर किंवा कशावर बोलत नाहीये. आपण जेव्हा डिझाईन थिंकिंग हा कन्सेप्ट राबवतोय सर, तर याचा अर्थ असा आहे की कुठेतरी त्याच्या विचाराला चालना मिळायला पाहिजे. त्यांनी झुलॉजीला ऍडमिशन घेऊ का, त्यांनी बॉटनीला घेऊ का, फिजिक्सला घेऊ का, केमिस्ट्रीला घेऊ, हा इथे प्रश्न नाहीये सर. मुद्दा हा आहे की त्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी त्या गोष्टीचं अनुकरण कसं करावं किंवा ते जीवनात त्याला अप्लाय कसं करावं, हा हा मुद्दा आहे. डिझाईन थिंकिंग इज दॅट. नाउ लेट मी टेल यू व्हॉट यू आर सेइंग. आय 100% ऍग्री. कारण तुम्ही जसं म्हणताय कदाचित मी त्या एंडला जाऊन बघितलेलं नसेल, किंवा मला किंवा अजून बाकीच्यांना माहित नसेल, किंवा बऱ्यापैकी लोकांना माहिती असेल. वस्तुस्थिती आहे, तुम्ही एका गोष्टीला अगदी काय म्हणायला पाहिजे, सत्यात मांडल्यासारखं मांडलं. पण तरी मला काय म्हणायचं की एखाद्या शिक्षकाने फक्त अटेंडन्स देणे किंवा परीक्षा घेणे हे सोडून जर त्याच्यामधल्या गोष्टीवर जास्त कॉन्सन्ट्रेट केलं किंवा ज्याच्यावर जास्त लक्ष दिलं, बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान दिया किस चीज पे, कि जो बच्चा आ रहा है वो बच्चा अपना दिमाग लगाना सीख रहा है. इट इज इरेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ कौन सा सब्जेक्ट है, कौन सा क्लास है, लैब है, प्रैक्टिकल है, दिस विल वर्क. देखो आपने पढ़ाया या नहीं पढ़ाया, जो चीज आपने बताई वो तो इरेस्पेक्टिव पैरेलली हो ही रही है. इट इज हैपनिंग, इट इज हैपनिंग. इसको अगर थोड़ा भी बदलना है, ये तो वैसे भी हो रहा है, ऐसे भी हो रहा है. देखो there would be certain different measures which I cannot say about it, but the measure with what I am talking. आपके पास 50 बच्चों का एडमिशन है, क्लास में 15 बच्चे आ रहे हैं, 15 बच्चे में से सिर्फ 5 बच्चे ध्यान दे रहे हैं, 10 बच्चे बिल्कुल ध्यान भी नहीं दे रहे. That's the fact. Let us think this as a very hypothetical situation. I don't know about it, but I just took it as a hypothetical example. Now what is the question is, ये जो 5 बच्चे ध्यान दे रहे हैं ना, हम इतना इंश्योर करें कि ये 5 बच्चों को सीखने में इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है. ये 5 बच्चे उन 10 बच्चों को बोलेंगे और उन 10 बच्चों से ये बात आगे 10 को जाएगी. तो वो कॉलेज करने नहीं आएंगे, वो सीखने आएंगे जहां पे वो अपना दिमाग चलाए. I think this will work. Obviously, I know there are constraints. There would be certain different obstacles for it, but obviously, over a generic thing, this will work. This is irrespective of degree. अपनी जगह वैसे भी मिलनी है जैसी मिल रही है.
मैडम
Attendance अपनी
एक
जगह लग
मिनट
रही है जैसी लगनी है. So I think this is what will happen, and this can be taken over by design thinking. That is what I would say. Now what I would say is, at least let us move to the next slide, क्योंकि सारे questions इसी के पीछे घूमते रहेंगे. We'll move to the next slide and you'll get many more chances to talk about this. Okay? Yeah. So rest of the people who have raised their hands, at this moment, I'll just ask them to lower it down and I'll take it over once again once we move ahead. या तो हम आगे ही नहीं बढ़ेंगे फिर. So this was about teaching. Now, as we all know, in these education field, with our education policy, with our government policy, with our sustainability for the nation, with our GDP, everything is revolving around research. So how is that design thinking is playing a role in research? So the very first thing, whenever we define a problem, to make it more precise, उसको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से उसको अचूक बनाना है, उसको बिल्कुल सही बनाना है, या उसको बहुत ढंग से बनाना है, तो डिजाइन थिंकिंग विल प्ले अ वेरी मेजर रोल. रिसर्च में इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच बहुत जरूरी होता है, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज एनकरेज्ड बाय डिजाइन थिंकिंग. सो दिस सेकंड फंडामेंटल, हाउ डिजाइन थिंकिंग विल हेल्प रिसर्च. व्हाट इज दैट विल बी हेल्प्ड इन डिजाइन थिंकिंग? अगर कोई नई चीज बना रहे हैं, कोई नवाचार हो रहा है, कोई नई चीज बन रही है, कुठेतरी काहीतरी नवीन बनतंय, इनोव्हेशन या प्रोटोटाइपिंग इज बिल्डिंग द सर्किट, मेकिंग द सर्किट. कोई डिजाइन आपने बनाया, उसको अगर लाना है सर्किट के रूप में, सर्किट के तौर पे, तो रैपिड प्रोटोटाइपिंग और इनोवेशन इज अगेन अ पार्ट ऑफ और अ स्टेप ऑफ डिजाइन थिंकिंग. एंड फाइनली, human-centered research, because design thinking is an human-centered approach. So design thinking enhances human-centered research and ethical and responsible innovation. जो बहुत जरूरी है, जहां पे आप लोग बोल रहे हो कि बच्चे ध्यान नहीं दे रहे, मुलं वर्गात येत नाही, तो उनका अटेंडेंस नहीं है, आए हैं तो दे आर डिस्ट्रैक्टेड बाय मोबाइल. सो एथिकल एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबल इनोवेशन, डिजाइन थिंकिंग विल support that. Now coming to here, again, open the chat box. Think about your own experiences that you have ever been stuck with traditional teaching or research methods that felt outdated. Think about it. I'll not ask you to write, because meanwhile, we have taken so much of time in this discussion because I have to move. So I think you can note it down, and for tomorrow you can note it. Think about your own experiences. आपने खुद के लिए experience किया है कि when you are stuck with traditional teaching or research methods that felt outdated. So this I'll leave it to you, and I'll take one more step ahead. So let us move into, after revolving back again, design thinking in education. As it was said in somewhere previous slide, education is not just about memorizing facts. It needs creativity, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. So what is creativity? Someone has put up the same thing in a different way. Is creativity. That is creativity. Someone who is talking about adaptability. What is adaptability? Adaptability is what are the existing terms. आपके कॉलेज में बच्चे नहीं आते हैं, आपके कॉलेज में अटेंडेंस को कोई महत्व नहीं दिया जाता है. So you'll have to put yourself into that situation and see that how you are being productive, how you are being useful for that student. Adaptability of the situation. And then problem solving skills. How can you solve the problems? So this is what is design thinking will do. Yes. Moving a step ahead. Design thinking shifts the focus from passive learning to hands-on exploration. And in a simple way, we as a teacher going to the class, standing on the dais next to the blackboard or the whiteboard, whatever it is, having a chalk duster or a pen in our hand, writing in on the board, delivering the session is called as passive learning. Simple. Then what is design thinking taking us? Design thinking is taking us to see that our focus is not to do passive learning, but our focus is to do active learning and typically hands-on exploration. So what is hands-on exploration? You can have active learnings by giving rapid tests, by asking questions, by giving them charts, by making them assignments, by having some seminars, or the other madam who has shared, by giving them some practical exposure. So all this comes under something called as active learning, hands-on exploration. And believe me, all of us who are there, we are going to be there for 2 weeks. So today is the second day. We are going to be there till the next week. I'll tell you in advance, you are going to work on an assignment. You are going to do one session tomorrow only of passive learning and next lecture of some active learning. I would say set a feedback form. Have your own feedback form at the end of the passive learning lecture and have a feedback form at the end of the active learning lecture. Do this, let us see. It is not that me who is going to tell you, it is who you are going to say the difference in these two sessions. So that will be the task which we'll be having next week. So initially I'm telling you, be prepared for it. Fine? Yeah. So this is what is design thinking in education. And then this is the task. As I said, can you share an example of how you have used creativity in your teaching or learning? Now I will not ask everyone because few of the people already have shared this. Is there anyone, one or two people whom I'll take, who would like to share something related to this? Some creativity which they have used in the class. Is there anyone?
Yes, madam. Shall I share?
Yeah, please. Please go on. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we can have the role play activity also. That is also one of the good technique where we can
No, just hold on for a while. What you have used, you are going to share that. What we can have, I'm not asking that.
Okay, okay. That is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I actually done this role play activity.
Okay.
I used to talk one subject that is DC machine, in which what I have done, I have to taught the different part of an motor. So I just involved the student. I asked them to come forward. First, I explain through the animation. And then I ask, let it be, some are this part of the motor, some are these parts of the motor. And they need to explain that, ki how I'm going to work. This is my function. This is my characteristics like that. So I got a wonderful response when there is a physical activity and the involvement of the student. So that is what I would like to share.
Good. Yes. So you have involved the students and that is what was noticed. Very right. Yeah, good. Anyone else? One more activity I'll be taking.
Madam,
Anyone else?
Can I share, ma'am?
madam,
Yeah, please go on. Yeah.
येस मॅम. मी माझ्या क्लासरूममध्ये काय केलं, मी बॉटनी शिकवतो जनरली. तर बॉटनी सब्जेक्टमध्ये मी काय केलेलं की फ्लॉवर मॉर्फॉलॉजी वगैरे हे त्यांना शिकवताना त्यांना त्याच्यामध्ये इंटरेस्ट येत नव्हता. तर मॉर्फॉलॉजी हा अतिशय बोरिंग विषय त्यांना वाटायचा की फ्लॉवरची मॉर्फॉलॉजी म्हणजे काय, आता बघत बसायची फुलं. तर मी काय केलेलं की त्यांना मी एक नोटीस केलेलं की त्यातले भरपूर मुलं जे ते याच्यामध्ये रील्स वगैरे बनवण्यामध्ये खूप ऍक्टिव्ह होते. तर मी काय केलं, सगळ्यांना एक टास्क असाइनमेंट देऊन टाकलं की तुम्ही तुमच्या आसपास जे पण फुलं दिसत आहेत त्यांचे फोटोग्राफ्स क्लिक करा किंवा तुम्ही छोटासा एक रील जो 1 मिनिटचा असतो तसा त्याचा व्हिडिओ बनवा आणि त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही काहीही तुमची माहिती बोला. तुम्हाला त्या फुलाबद्दल जे काही माहिती आहे की याच्या पेटल्सचा आकार कसा आहे, याचा रंग कसा आहे, याचा स्मेल कसा आहे, याच्यामध्ये काय वेगळं आहे बाकी फुलांपेक्षा, हे तुम्ही बॅकग्राऊंडला त्या आवाज रेकॉर्डमध्ये बोला. तर त्यांनी लिटरली कधीही असाइनमेंट एवढं पटकन शेअर केले नव्हते जेवढं पटकन त्यांनी ईमेलमध्ये मला ते व्हिडिओच्या सगळ्या लिंक पाठवल्या. पण आणि ऍट दी एंड काय झालं फायदा की त्यांनी ज्यांनी ज्यांनी जे जे केलेलं ना त्यांना ते लक्षात होतं. हे मी
Simple.
नोटीस केलं मॅडम.
Yes. That's a confiscal statement. You involve me, you engage me, and I'll remember. I'll learn it for lifetime. That is what it is. छोटीशी activity, but then what did you do? You do it some creatively. You did it out of the box, and that is design thinking. तुम्हाला माहिती नव्हतं, but that's a part of design thinking. So that is how it is. Simple. I think that is what things are to be done. Okay, yeah. Yes. So coming
Yes.
back,
Hello,
this
madam.
was,
Sorry, madam.
yes.
Can I explain my example?
Okay, go on. I was to take only two, but anyway, it's okay. One more. Yeah.
ओके ना मी केमिस्ट्रीचा प्राध्यापक आहे मॅडम. युजली मी कॉमन लाईफ मधले एक्झाम्पल घेतलो त्यांना एखादा केमिस्ट्रीचा कन्सेप्ट जर शिकवायचा असेल तर मी आधी ऍश्युअर करतो की कॉमन लाईफ मध्ये तसं काही एखादं एक्झाम्पल आहे का बा, आणि तिथं तो लॉ एक्सप्लेन करून त्याच्याशी कोरिलेट करून त्याला थोडासा इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट करतो, त्यांना इन्व्हॉल्व करतो त्याच्यात कसं कोरिलेट करता येईल, जे मी एक्झाम्पल आणलेलं आहे त्याला. आणि लास्टला कधी कधी 4-5 मिनिटं बाकी असताना क्लासला शेवटचे 4-5 मिनिटं एखादा मोटिवेशनल थॉट देतो त्यांना, आणि जेणेकरून त्यांनी पार्टिसिपेट व्हावं आणि ते इंटरॅक्टिंग व्हावं, म्हणून त्याच्यावर त्यांना त्यांचे काय थॉट आहेत किंवा त्यांना काय समजलं त्याच्यावर चर्चा करायला देतो. तर बऱ्याचदा ते इंटरॅक्टिव्ह राहतं मॅडम. शेवटी एखादा मोटिवेशनल थॉट लिहून त्याच्यावर त्यांना एक्सप्लेनेशन विचार, तुम्हाला काय कळलं किंवा तुम्ही दुसऱ्याला कसं कन्व्हिन्स कराल या थॉट बद्दल.
छान. व्हेरी नाईस. सो दिस इज समथिंग. तुम्ही अगदी छोटासा प्रयत्न केला, पण बघा ना त्याचा किती छानसा त्याचा हे झालाय, कितना अच्छा उसका आंसर मिला है. The students started taking interest. So that is how one has to think a bit out of the box, नहीं कह सकते, but creatively to involve the students. That is what. So again here coming back, हमने कुछ देर पहले देखा था design thinking in research. Research is not just about finding answers, but then research is, it's about asking the right questions. Actually design thinking in research नहीं रहना चाहिए, ये question रहना चाहिए design thinking for educators. But educators are ever in learning mode, in research mode. So I typically repeated the same title over here. What is that? It is about asking the right questions. It is not about giving the answers. So remember here also, when you ask the questions, or in the class, when you ask the questions to the students, again, it is once again a big theory, a big subject. How should we ask? How should we raise the question? Because there are 5 steps of design thinking. First is empathy. Second is define. Third is ideate, prototype, and test. That is what it is. Yeah, very nice about Dabba party concept for teach about plant families. Very good. So there are various things which could be done. So I guess that is what it is. Design thinking helps researchers approach problems from multiple angles and continuously refine their work. So all the people who have shared here right now, the ways how they have engaged are researchers. Do you agree? They have researchers. They have approached the problems from multiple angles and continuing refining their work. So that is what is about design thinking, I guess. Yes. Now here is, I want you to think of a research problem in your field. Since the previous slide was about having the right question rather than right answer. So think of a research problem in your field. How could you redefine it using a human-centered approach? Okay, I will not ask the answer right now. I will leave this to you as an, once again, some assignment which we can discuss tomorrow. So I would ask everyone to please note it. Think of a research problem in your field. In fact, we can post it in the WhatsApp group also so that you remember it. Think of a research problem in your field. How could you redefine it using a human-centered approach? What is to be defined? Not solution. No one has asked you about solution, remember here. The complete statement talks about the problem itself. I hope you got it. Yes? Yes, everyone? Shall I move? Hope you have noted it because I'll be taking tomorrow with this. Yes. Yes. So moving a step ahead. So finally, design thinking helps us what? Move from rigid. This is how it is. बच्चे पढ़ना ही नहीं चाहते हैं. बच्चों के पास मोबाइल है, full to distraction. बच्चों को आना ही नहीं है college. Students are not interested in studies. Fact है भाई, but we as a teacher, If students are not coming, how are we going to sustain? They are our customers. And we are here to teach them. Does not mean that someone should bring the students and put up in the class and we as a teacher go to the class and deliver the session. उसी के बारे में तो सारी बातें कर रहे हैं हम लोग. तो ऐसा नहीं होएगा. Design thinking helps us to move from rigid traditional methods to flexible, innovative approaches that create real impact. So this is the conclusion of what we have discussed till now. What is design thinking? 5 steps. What does human-centered approach? What does it say? We are moving from traditional to student-centered learning. So finally, in a nutshell, in simple words, design thinking helps us to move from rigid traditional methods to flexible, innovative approaches that create real impact. So this is about design thinking. Okay, is it clear? Because I'm going to move to the first step of design thinking a bit ahead of it. I guess this is clear with everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what were the learnings in simple way? Yes. So that was an instruction or that was a conclusion. And what are the learnings? Design thinking makes learning more engaging, creative, and student-centered. So I would say, dear colleagues, dear friends, who all are there, please note it. What is design thinking? Design thinking makes learning more engaging, more creative, and student-centered. So I guess all the people who are here now will say that we want to have design thinking embedded in our teaching learning process. That is what it is. In research, it helps frame problems better, promotes rapid prototyping, and enhances real-world impact. And it encourages this interdisciplinary collaboration and ethical innovation. We have seen this earlier also. So there are case studies on design thinking. Do you want me to discuss this right now, or shall I share this with you? The answer is with you, because if you say,
Excuse me, ma'am, would you please show us the earlier slide?
This one?
Yeah, please, ma'am, just do it.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, now you can proceed.
It was in a nutshell what we have seen in the previous slides. I have collated it and written at the end to do that. Yes.
Ma'am, because of the short-term memory we said.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is how it happens. With what memory you said, na? So out of the box, out of design thinking, let me tell you, we all know, might be there are people, I'm from an engineering background, typically from electronics and telecommunication. I did my Doctor of Science in higher order thinking skills. So I work into this domain of thinking, actually. Post my PhD, I did my Doctor of Science, that is higher order thinking skills from some American university. And that is how I work into this. But really, I like to work into various domains. And somewhere when we look into the theory of evolution of mankind, human, we get to know that we all know that sometime when there was man, few thousands of years ago, human being had a tail, and which is not seen today. We had tail. Our ancestors sometimes had tail. They had so much of height. They had so much of weight. They had big hands. They had big foots, and that is what it was. So over the evolution, what has been noticed? This is nowhere. Things have changed. So remember, we as a teacher, we as a generation, what are we leaving for our next generation? We cannot leave them at the mercy of this exploration of technology. You know why? Because they will stop using the brains, and as the theory of evolution says, someday they may not have brains. So as the educator, it is our moral responsibility to see that we invoke this in our students, that you carry brains and use it, and that is design thinking. And that itself is design thinking. So that responsibility is with our hand. It rests to our shoulders. And that is what is design thinking. I think I have made it very clear. why as a teacher we should learn design thinking, and why as a teacher we should use design thinking. We should adopt design thinking. Moving to case studies, a very simple but a beautiful case study. Embrace infant warmer. Let me tell you who worked on this case study, or this case study is from where. This case study has come from Stanford. I think it need not have to some. Stanford is one of the well-known and one of the best universities across the world in US. A group of Stanford students applied design thinking where? To solve infant mortality due to hypothermia in rural India. Just see, what did they do? They went into to find a problem, to find a what is the challenge. And what was the challenge? लहान मुलं खूप दगावतायत रुरल इंडियामध्ये, ग्रामीण भागात लहान मुलं हायपोथर्मियामुळे दगावतायत. हे त्यांनी नोट केलं. दे मस्ट हैव टेकन द स्टैटिस्टिक्स. वो स्टैटिस्टिक्स उन्होंने कहीं से लिया. And then what needs to be done? So they worked on it. What did they work on it? Let us look into what did they do for it. So what is that they do? Instead of expensive incubators, कावीळमुळं ग्रामीण भागात लहान मुलं दगावतात. हा साधासा प्रश्न होता. त्यांनी त्याचं संख्या, त्याचे आकडेवारी काढली. और उनको ध्यान में आया कि इतने ज्यादा बच्चे यहाँ पे अपनी जान गंवा रहे हैं. So what did they do? They didn't send any expensive incubators. Rather, what did they do? Just look into. They designed a low-cost, portable infant warmer that could be used without electricity, simply. And that is what they came up with, which played a role of, what is that? Which played a role of incubator as good as, and they saved 3 lakhs premature babies worldwide, not in India, worldwide. So a problem coming from somewhere, they found out a very low cost solution for it, and they used it worldwide to save 3 lakh premature babies. Now here's a question for you all, dear. And what's the question? How can you apply a similar problem solving approach in your teaching or research? This design thinking. The Stanford students applied design. Anyway, design thinking was born. It was not born, it was reborn at Stanford by David Kelly, as I said yesterday. So from where it was taught, the उगम तिथुन झाला है. वो कहाँ से जन्मा? हमारी तरह से, हमारे जनरेशन के लिए हम कह सकते हैं कि it generated from Stanford. So these Stanford people worked on a problem from India, and what did they do? All the 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? Understanding empathy. अरे यार इतने बच्चे मर रहे हैं, वो भी ऐसे कारण, तो इसके लिए कर क्या सकते हैं? We cannot have incubators at every rural part. At least that time when they worked, it was not possible. So why not to have something else? So what did they do? They went into empathetically. इतने बच्चे मर रहे, अच्छी बात नहीं है. Empathy. They defined the problem. What is the problem? Due to hypothermia, इतने बच्चे जान गंवा रहे हैं. And then they ideated a solution. They found out a solution. Low cost, कम कीमत वाला पोर्टेबल वार्मर बनाएंगे तो बच्चे गर्म रहेंगे, तो उनकी जान जाने का खतरा कम हो जाएगा. And then they made a prototype. They tried to use it, and that too without electricity. And finally, it came up and it is working. What did it do? 3 lakh premature babies worldwide इन्होंने save किया है. Yes. So what is that? Now same thing. This is once again a question. Please note it. How can you apply a similar problem solving approach in your teaching or research? That's the problem for you. Similar approach. इनके जैसा ही approach. इन्होंने क्या approach किया है? एक low cost solution जो हर जगह. And see, it is the heart. Our India thrives on our rural way. Or rural India is the heart of our nation, I would say. Then how can we apply it to each corner of India. You are supposed to find it. So I'll leave it to you, not for today, but for tomorrow. Moving a step ahead, I have come up with one more case study. And this case study is nothing but of IBM Watson Health. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. IBM was working on AI for many years, more than 25 years. There was something called as AI bot, Watson. And what did it do? AI-powered healthcare solutions. What was out of it? It assists doctors in diagnosing faster and more accurately. That is what is AI-powered healthcare solutions done, and it is known as IBM Watson Health. Again, this question to you. Think of a challenge in your institution or workplace. So the question is not giving the solution. Have you noticed it? The question is find out a challenge in your institution or workplace where you can apply this IBM approach. And that is what is said about here. Okay. So 3 questions, I think 3-4 questions I have given you. These 2 questions, I'll post it in the WhatsApp, or someone else can also do that. Post it in the WhatsApp. Think of a challenge in your institution or workplace and just tell how can IBM's approach to design thinking help to solve it. So that is the rest to you, I guess. And what was it's unsaid. What would be the result of it? With this diagnosing disease faster and more accurately, enhanced early detection and improved patient outcomes. It's again globally. So that is what is. So thus are the examples of design thinking. In what way? They worked in 5 steps. What are those 5 steps? Empathy, defining the problem, ideating the solution, building the prototype, testing it, and it worked out. That is what is design thinking. Okay, so I think today I will leave it here and open for discussions, 2-3 discussions. There are some 5-10 minutes we can have a discussion. Those who I could not discuss with, if they are open for discussion, I'm there. Yeah, please.
Madam,
yes.
One request.
Yes.
It's actually meeting scheduled at 9 on the same platform. So we'll continue discussion in the tomorrow's session.
Okay, no worries, no worries. From my side, anyway, today's discussion I have ended with, sir. Yeah.
We'll start our section discussion on the today's session.
Yes. In fact, I would say
so. Shruti, madam, just conclude. We are circulating a feedback form also. In that feedback form, we can include some of the questions wherein people can give their feedback. Open-ended feedback will be there. Yes.
Hello.
Hi, madam.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'll do is I'll post this today's 3-4 questions as assignment. I'll share that. Don't worry. I'll post it.
Share it with me. I'll incorporate in the feedback form.
Yes.
So as we have made yesterday.
Yes.
आज का जो पूरा सेशन है इसके ऊपर भी फीडबैक हम लोग जैसे कल किया उसी तरह से करेंगे. 11 बजे वो फीडबैक फॉर्म ओपन होगा. By that time you need to imbibe the entire things which I have discussed in today's session. So, Magira madam, say thank you and conclude the session.
श्रुती आहे ना, श्रुती करते ना.
हो मॅम.
नाही
येस
ठीक आहे. ओके.
धन्यवाद सर. आजच्या सत्रात आदरणीय भावना अंबुटकर मॅमनी खूप छान प्रकारे इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडिया आणि क्रिएटिव्हिटी सांगितल्या. जसे की व्हॉट इज युअर हॉबीज अँड व्हॉट इज युअर पॅशन, importance of designing thinking in education and research, designing and thinking transform teaching methods, case study on design thinking या मुद्द्यांची सखोल माहिती दिली व तसेच आपल्या सर्वांना छान प्रकारे समाविष्ट करून घेतले. खूप खूप धन्यवाद मॅम. तसेच या उपक्रमासाठी महाविद्यालयाचे व माननीय प्राचार्य डॉक्टर जी.व्ही. कोरपे सरांचे विशेष आभार मानते. या उपक्रमाची महत्वाची दुवा म्हणजे आदरणीय डॉक्टर दिनेश खेळकर सरांचे मनपूर्वक आभार मानते. तसेच सहभागी झालेले सर्वांचे मी विशेष आभार मानते. आजचे वक्ते व समन्वयकांच्या वतीने आजचे सत्र संपन्न झाले असे जाहीर करते. धन्यवाद.
थँक्यू ऑल ऑफ यू. सेम लिंक आहे उद्या 7 वाजता.
थँक्यू.
थँक्यू मॅडम.
थँक्यू मॅम. थँक्यू सर.
थँक्यू मॅडम.